Here to break down tech's big week and what you should be doing ahead of it, Kelly Intelligence founder and CEO Kevin Kelly and Gerber Kawasaki CEO Ross Gerber. Welcome, gentlemen. This is the week that always gets people's hearts pumping during earnings season because you've got these huge names. Kevin, what is the number one thing, no matter who's reporting, that you'll be looking for?
Margins, and we're actually really concerned about that because we know that they're all going to have revenue growth except Meta, but the earnings growth is not going to keep up with that. In some instances, it's actually going to be negative. So we want to see how they're going to hold up with their margins, and then once they report their margins, what their guidance is going to be, because we know it's tough out there. And just like with what just happened with Tesla, where they've actually have concerns about China, we're concerned about that as well.
What about you, Ross? Is there something specific that you are going to be digging for in each of these reports?
Well, I think the point that made was very valid, and we've seen the tech sector has been trimming jobs to try to keep margins. So we'll see if they actually are able to maintain the margins despite the cost cutting. And then secondly, I think it's really hard for companies to give guidance going forward because there's so much uncertainty in areas like China and Europe. So I think that's going to be very interesting what the commentary is from the different CEOs during the conference calls about what they really see ahead, because I think all the companies have different factors affecting them that might be positive or negative for the next 12 months to 2 years.
Kevin, let's get to picks. You like Microsoft. You've got a hold on Apple. That I'm interested in hearing about. Google, you've got a hold. Amazon, a hold. Meta, you have a sell. I get that. But why the hold on Apple?
Yeah, the hold on Apple is actually predicated on what sort of just came out over the weekend with Xi Jinping over in China solidifying his next third term, and it could be indefinite. And we know he's not conducive for businesses. And China is a big market for Apple. They even custom made a data center over there to keep the information within the country. So we think it could be a potential headwind, especially with how much can they keep raising. I mean, I know they raised prices on some services today, but how long can they keep doing that, considering we're potentially heading into a recession, which could hurt consumer spending? So, there's a lot of headwinds coming Apple's way and not the tailwinds that they had in the past. If you think about all their last issues of the iPhone, they were actually increasing their production. A month ago, they actually decreased their production for the latest iPhone. So that's not a good sign. So we think there's too many headwinds in the way of Apple, especially on the macroeconomic side and the currency side when it comes to China.
Although I would say I'm not sure Apple confirmed that. There were reports that they were, scaling back or contracting a little bit on their production. But Ross? I know you hate Meta. I get it. And you said TikTok is absolutely crushing them. But I want to hear, because you like Amazon, you like Microsoft. Amazon has gotten so cheap when it comes to the pullback here. I know that it is down about, let's say, 28% year to date. Microsoft's down 26% year to date. But is it just that valuation having come down to earth, or is it something else?
No, I mean, it's nice to see these stocks a little more reasonable valuation. Amazon's still relatively expensive. But what I really like is, Amazon has really moved aggressively into the entertainment industry, and they've had a lot of success now with football and their streamer, and a lot more success than Apple recently in the streaming business. And with the MGM purchase, they're going into the theaters and really attacking the ad business in a very aggressive way. And this is a big plus for Amazon, and I like the direction. So the traditional shopping business isn't that exciting to me, but everything else, including AWS, is starting to get a lot more exciting in Amazon. And then with Microsoft, it's just a solid player. I'm a little worried about the PC slowdown, but in general, Microsoft is in a prime position in all the businesses they're in, and we expect them to continue to execute well despite some of the challenges they face in the computer business.
Kevin, guide our viewers, because right now it is all about margins, managing costs. But don't these big tech companies not only have to attack the costs, but also continue innovating? And that's expensive. And those two things are hard to do at the same time. Who does it
they're
best?
exceptionally hard. Yeah, they're exceptionally hard to do, and that's why, when you look at a company like Amazon, they have their hands in so many different pots. I mean, if you think about how they have their e-commerce platform, they have cloud computing. It's too hard. They've got enterprise and consumer, so that's why we like Microsoft. Where if you really want to play enterprise spend, which should hold up better than consumers in a recessionary environment, Microsoft is the play, especially if you want to get the tailwinds of cloud computing and AI and all those other enterprise spend areas, where if you look at the other names, there's too much exposure to a lot of the consumer areas that can get hit harder, especially on the advertising side. It's a great business, but Microsoft is so diversified in enterprise, that's the way to play it, especially with 10% revenue growth expected.
Ross, I have to ask you about Tesla, because of course you are the Tesla guy. You've been bullish. You made a lot of money on this trade. Where do you stand on Tesla right now? And what did you think of Elon's comment during the conference call that he foresees, or he could foresee, that Tesla one day would have a bigger market cap than Apple and Aramco combined?
I don't think that's a crazy statement, to be honest, because Aramco is going to be worth nothing in 5 years thanks to Tesla. And Apple hasn't really innovated much in a long time. And when you start thinking about robots and Cybertrucks, boy, Tesla could grow a lot in the next 5 years. And so, when you look at Tesla today, trading around 200, a little over 200, this is just an amazing opportunity for long-term investors who can deal with the volatility of investing with Elon Musk. But I have to say, with what's in store for Tesla over just the next 6 months to a year, and then of course Biden's what I call the Tesla Enrichment Act, which he passed this year, that's going to be a huge benefit to Tesla in 2023. You got to look at this stock if you're a growth investor, for sure.
That is a bold statement. Yeah, but go ahead. Let me just say, that is a bold statement, saying that Aramco will be out of business because of Tesla. I like your thinking. I mean, I think it's interesting. Might not happen as quickly, but go ahead, Kevin.
Yeah, Liz, there's not enough rare earths or copper being mined in order to support the bullish thesis that Ross is laying out. Yeah, there's room for it, but it's going to take a lot longer for the green revolution to take hold in solar panels as well as electric vehicles that everyone's all hopium on, right? I mean, they're hoping it's and will it into existence, but you know what? The facts of the matter are not enough copper, not enough rare earths, and not enough production capacity to meet those needs.
There's lithium everywhere. We have commodities all over the United States, and we're building them in mines like MP here.
We have to extract it, though. Ross, we can't
You can't extract, exactly.
We can't extract natural gas because of all of the permitting issues.
Where their miners are going on strike.
How they do this. The only reason we're not extracting it is because we haven't put any effort into doing it. We let China make all this money. So we're extracting and we're opening mines all over the world as we speak.
Okay, quickly, before we go, Ross. Twitter. Is he going to buy Twitter? What is happening? He's supposed to make a decision by this Friday at 5 p.m. or else the judge is going to get so mad.
It's a done deal.
Sorry, I didn't hear.
It's done. It's a deal. The deal is done.
Okay.
And I can't say more than that, but it should close on Friday.
Kevin, what do you think?
It's most likely going to go through if the debt markets and the banks fully support Elon in this. But the wild card is the administration, and I think there's some regulatory concerns. So that would be the only way it doesn't close.
Yeah, I don't see those, but we'll be watching. And by the way, stay tuned to this channel because we are covering the Twitter Elon story out the wazoo. Kevin, Ross, always a pleasure to have you. Now you guys go fight about lithium.